Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Cody and I'm a content creator based in the UK. If this is your first time, you're very welcome to the channel, and if this is your second, third, fourth, fifth time, you already know you're the real MVP. Thank you so much for always coming back and tuning in. So on my previous video, I had talked about my journey of relocation up until when I moved to the UK, my struggles in the UK, my experiences, and now I'm going to be talking about settling into the UK properly, finding a job, finding a house, how I cope with my studies, my daughter finding daycare, and all that drama and juice in between. So if you're interested in this video, which I know that you are, you have to be interested. Please stay tuned. Do not go anywhere, and I'll be right back. So finding a daycare for my daughter was it wasn't something I did after I came into the UK. After I moved into the UK, I found the daycare for Ada when I visited the UK. Remember, I talked about visiting the UK to attend my sister's graduation ceremony and just to chill in the UK for a bit. That was when I started making steps to finding daycare for her, and then we found this one that she currently goes to. So I checked around, I saw a couple. This was the most affordable, and it was just a place I connected with at the time, and it was in a good location too, because location was a big deal. So it was a good location, a bus route, you know. So we settled for it. We paid something called holding deposits or something, just to hold that space for your child until when they are ready to resume. So we're supposed to resume when I resume school, but you already know the story. And so she resumed after like a month or two, other than when she was supposed to resume. But all through the time I was in contact with the lady, and she was so gracious, saying it was okay that they were going to keep the place until she was ready to resume. So we arrived on the 30th of October into the UK. On the 1st, I took her there because I wanted her to be done with the trial period before I had to resume lectures that November. So the trial period is usually like 1 week, depending on you really. But yeah, there's the provision of 1 week, which I don't have to pay for because the money I paid for the holding would cover for it, or at least that's what they told me. So the first week, on the first day, I'll put a video or a clip of her on the first day. We went in. She would just stay for 1 hour, so I just hung around. I found a park where I stayed until 1 hour was over. I came to pick her up. The second day, she'd come in and stay for 2 hours. So it was a way of just gradually easing her into the setting, you know, so she gets used to them gradually, as against just dropping her for a full time, you know, 1 day just at once like that. The second day, she did 2 hours. The third day, she did 3 hours. I think the fourth day, she did half day. The fifth day, she did half day. So they said she was settling in nicely, and so it was great. And that was it for the first week. So from the second week, that was when we got in full time. So she was attending daycare from morning till evening. So her daycare time is from about, I think, 7:30 to 6:30. So you can bring or take your child within that time, but if you're on full time, that's how long they can give you, which I found really good because my lectures would last up until 5:30. So I had an hour or less most times, because sometimes the lectures could extend to just to 6 or thereabouts. Sometimes I have to leave because I would not, as I didn't want to be late, because of course if you're late you're gonna pay. Nobody's gonna listen to sorry. So I had to always like move out and be sure. So the time really worked for me, because that was another thing why I chose it. Most of the other daycares would close by 6. So this was one I found that would close at 6:30, and so it gave me additional time to be able to meet up after lectures and pick her up. So yeah, so basically that's how daycare has been, or that's how daycare started, and that's how it has been. We've been there for, I think she started off, say, officially in November. So November, December, January, February, March. We're there for 5 months now, and yeah, basically moving on to, you know, studies. I submitted my first essay at this point. We're going to get onto the second essay, which was sometime around November, second lecture. So my lectures happens once every 2 months. So after the first one, which was in September, you'd have a month and a week or so to submit an essay. The second module will start just after a week after you submitted your essay or thereabout, and it'll be just 3 days, 9 to 5:30 as it goes. So 3 days again, you have another essay, and then you have a month and a few weeks or 1 week, And then January, just like that. So January we had another lecture. January had another lecture. We had another essay to write, and then next one will be March, which I just finished. So we've had lectures. That's the final module. That's the final class work, and now I have an essay to write and submit. So I'm working on my essay currently and my dissertation, because when dissertation season, we've done a bit of work on the dissertation topic, you know, blah blah blah. Now I have to submit my table of content and sample chapter. But yeah, that's where we are, plus this essay I have to write. So sort of rounding up, but we're in the middle of it still. So that's about my academics. Now on to how I got my job and how I got my house, which is the juicy part of the story. I'm going to start with my house because it was a longer process. The job too was long, but I don't think it was as long as I searched for a house. So I started searching for a house even before Ada came in. So I was looking for a house. I would apply. So you usually go to like what's the name of this website? So there's a website where you could search. I was particularly looking for on one particular website. I can't remember the name now. If I remember, I'll put it there. I'll just leave it on the screen. I hate to think like this. Right, I remember. It's Rightmove. I knew I was gonna have to. So I sort of paused to find or to think about it, and it came on. So it's Rightmove. Sorry. Yeah. So it's Rightmove, and I would just try to find the house. The first house I was called to view, that house, I don't regret it, but it really helped me that I didn't get that place. Like, it was the best. It was the best, the absolute best. This house was in a very good location, very close to the bus stand, very close to High Street. It would have also been close to my daughter's daycare, and it was just in a good place. It was a terrace, semi-terraced property. I had 2 rooms upstairs, 2 parlors. You know how they do parlors here? It's like 2 sitting rooms, something like that. They call it different names. The kitchen was okay. I had a backyard. I had a parking lot just in front of me. Like, I had a space for my own car if I had one. I had a bathroom. Even though the downside of the bathroom was downstairs, I didn't really mind because it had a toilet upstairs. So it would just be to bathe downstairs. That was weird, but I didn't mind, honestly, because this house came fully furnished. Like, guys, I still have the video. I've deleted a lot of other videos of the houses I viewed, I was taking videos of, but this particular house, I just couldn't delete it. It was just really good. All of the rooms had beds, mattresses, wardrobes, table and chairs. The person that was living in the house before even converted one of the parlors to a room, so it was like 3 rooms. Now that room also had a bed, mattress, wardrobes, table and chair, everything. The parlor had its own like couch, dining set, rug, everything. The kitchen was everything: microwave, washing machine, dryer, fridge, freezer, even had kettle. Like, everything was there. Even had some like plates and spoons and everything was in this house. Anyway, so you know how when they're renting out a new house, they would have had someone come and check the house and point out like the areas that had issues. So I think the guy that came to check the house had pointed out like, oh, the washing machine had an issue. Sorry, I don't know, the sun is seeping into my room, so I have the windows are on the roof, so it affects my lighting. So sorry about that thing you're seeing. It's from my window. Anyway, let's just go on. So what are they? Oh God, I'm distracted. I'll cut this part out. Anyway, the person that had come to view the house had pointed out that the washing machine wasn't okay, and there was this fireplace in the parlor that also wasn't okay, and then the door, the post stuff on the door, the post box on the door was shaky, so that had to be fixed. And I think the backyard door also had to be fixed. So I said, you know what, I'm happy to take this out. I love it. I'm okay with the price, but I just want these things fixed. And the lady that showed us, I was like, oh, just tell them you're happy with it, but they should state as in that this is what you want fixed, and they will know what to do. And so I stated it, and I told the lady, I'm even happy to pay the holding deposit right now, but can you get this? And she was like, oh no, don't pay your holding deposit yet. Let's just get back to the landlord and then we'll get back to you. But yeah, we get that you're interested in the house. I'm like, oh, okay, great. And so I called these people the next day. I'm like, what's going on? How far? You haven't gotten back to me. She's like, so somebody else came to view the house and they are willing to take it the way it is. And I'm like, bruh, but I told you I was happy to take the house. I just wanted to point this out to you. And they're like, the landlord accepted the application. Oh my God. Oh my God. I was so pained because I loved the house. So make I not complain again. Make I not tell her waiting happen. Oh God, that house is, I kept looking at, every time I passed up, I'll be looking at the house like, that's my house. That's supposed to be my house. Anyway, moving on. The second house that was really, really pivotal, this second house, I paid for it. Like I had paid my holding deposit for it, this one. So after this place, I had searched for other houses. You get to the point where you're supposed to get the house and tell you, oh, landlord doesn't want to give you the house. They prefer this other tenant, because you like submit an application and landlord will go through all the applications and pick the person they are interested in. Now, an interesting thing I want to point out is, as an international student with a family, international student with a dependent, finding a house will not be as easy for you as it will be for an international student who has no family. So an international student who is single or who just came to the UK without their family. You are two different people. Now, I'll tell you what, especially when it comes to accommodation, you find it much more difficult, much more challenging as one with dependents, because most of the student lets there is usually in a shared accommodation. So most of the student lets do not have suitable accommodation for students with families. So now you have a child, so there are rules around buildings or housing like that. They can only take a student that will just come and take a room and a bathroom or shared stuff like that. So they won't give it to you because it's not suitable for family. Now, most private landlords don't want to rent to students because they don't want student issues, student wahala, all those kind of things. So as a student, they don't want you. And a lot of landlords told me this straight up, like, yeah, we can see you're a mature student and all that, but so long as you have the student thing attached to you, they don't want to rent. They don't want to rent their houses to you, no matter what you say. They don't even care if you have the money. A lot of people told me straight up, like, I don't care if you have the money to pay, but we're not giving you the house. Like, we don't want students. It could also be a matter of maybe that's part of their mortgage agreement with the bank. Maybe the bank will tell them, oh, no students would let this property to just be like private people that have jobs and stuff. So, my dear, I looked, as in, if I don't view house, I viewed like 50 houses in this UK. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but thereabouts. It was a lot. I kept viewing, and you just get this response. The landlord chose to go with somebody else. But because I didn't have a choice, it had to be private landlords, because my university did not have accommodation for international students with families, or students with families really, right? Because I asked, and then the student lets, people that let to students didn't have for students with families. So it was a question of, these guys were my only option. I even remember one other person I remember, like, oh, can you pay for the rent upfront? Like, can I pay 12 months upfront? I'm like, how can I pay 12 months upfront? I don't have that money. Where did I keep it? I don't have that money. Some would ask for guarantor, and like, if I don't get person for UK, if I just came in, where do I find the guarantor? I went to my school, I'm like, can you guarantee me? Can you be my guarantor? My school like, oh no, we can't, blah, blah, blah. It was a lot. It was a whole lot. As an international student you just have to keep pushing. So long as you have family, you have to keep pushing, because you would eventually find one, which I did, but it will be difficult. It will not be easy. And I pray it's easier for you, but it wasn't easy for me. The second house I got, which I was just talking about before I started to talk about all of this, second house I got, this one, it was such a miracle. So of course, when you find the house, you put in for like viewing, or you want to come and view, and they accepted. They went to view, myself and my sister. My sister went to me almost all through. As in, Amaka, God bless you. You're really a gem. Anyway, we went to this house to view it, and we saw the place. It was really nice. It was really modern. The bathroom was very sweet place. Even though it was weird. It was small in some places. Some places were big. The kitchen was really long. Had a store, had a kitchen, everything. It had like cabinets. It had big, massive cabinets in the kitchen. The small ones, the big ones, everything. The kitchen was really big. the rooms were okay, normal UK size room. One was smaller than the other, but it was just okay. I didn't mind. But the bathroom was sweet. That bathroom was so big, but it was sweet. So it was really modern, like really modern bathroom. And so I was happy with the house. He had a backyard. It had some back storage. It was just really nice. It had a garden. It had street parking, and then of course a little frontage or thereabout. It was nice. So I spoke to the lady. I'm like, guy, please. My son was speaking to her like, you have to ensure that my sister is able to get this place. She's a student who's been through a lot of challenges trying to get accommodation, and all of that story. So either she would speak to the landlady, she would help us, blah blah blah. We liked the place. We're like, okay, so we put in our application. I put in my application. In less than how many days, landlady was okay, she was happy. I had to present guarantor. My sister gracefully agreed to guarantee me. We put that in, we got it. Now time to pay for holding deposits. I paid for my holding deposit. So the house was basically mine, and they were just doing their background checks, and they were happy. And that was the period where my daughter's passport came out. So I traveled back to Nigeria. My sister was keeping up with it. So, but before I traveled back to Nigeria, my sister was like, let's look at this house one more time, because by the time you're coming back to moving. Now that it's now ours, let's go back for a viewing again. Now we are calm, we are more settled, we're looking at it better. And so we went back, we looked at it. It was okay. We just pointed out a few things like, oh, the shrubs needs to be cut, this one, that one. My sister then pointed out that there were some black dots around specific areas in the house, areas that were close to the outside, like areas that were, the walls that were out, that had like an close to outside, so I get what I mean. And then the bathroom, we saw some small dots, and there were signs of mold. So my sister was like, point it out to the landlady, just ask them to confirm that this isn't mold. So in that way, you're not saying, oh, your house is mold reading, but let her confirm that this isn't mold. So I asked, and I didn't enter trouble, because by the time I asked, landlord came back to me in a day or two saying that they've withdrawn my application and they want to go and take care of the mold. And I'm like, I'm not going to withdraw application. You would have just treated it. I don't see house. What's this? It felt like I was going back to ground zero, and they withdrew my application. They sent back my money, and that's how I lost the house. It didn't hurt me so much because that house too, it was not furnished at all. Like I would have had to buy fridge, freezer, or fridge and freezer, washing machine, everything. I would have had to buy everything. Chair, table, bed, mattress, everything. It was not furnished at all. At all. So that house went, and I came back and I started looking for houses again. I wasn't still seeing anything I liked or anyone that would accept me. So one day I was just picking my daughter up from school, and I saw the house where I'm currently living in. It's just a couple of buildings away from my daughter's daycare, and I saw the to let sign outside, and I copied the number and I called the lady. It was a lady who picked, and I spoke to her. I'm like, I'm interested in renting. Which house do you have? And she's like, oh, she has a 2-bed, 2 baths. It's an apartment. I wanted a terrace because I wanted my daughter to be playing outside. I had dreams. Anyway, but at this point I was happy to take the house the way it was. I didn't care. I was just okay. So I was like, I'm happy to take it. And she was like, okay, that should send me some form, blah blah blah. It was really easy. And me and my sister came, we viewed the apartment. People were still living in it when we came to view. We viewed the apartment. It was okay. At least this one had fridge, freezer. It had washing machine, dryer. That was it. I had the cooker and everything, of course, was there, but I had to set up in my bed and chairs and everything, which it was fair, and it was cheaper than most of the houses I had seen. So I'm like, I can do it. I can do this. I can work with this. Anyway, I paid my deposit for the house, signed my contract, and I just had to wait till the end of the month for the people that were in it to move out, and so I could move in. I moved in a day after they moved out. Like, it was that bad. I wanted to move in ASAP. Anyway, so that's about the house. That's how I got the house. Like, I was literally just walking on the road. I didn't see it on anywhere. I didn't see it on right move or whatever. I just saw to let sign, and God just said call, and then I called, and the lady didn't ask me plenty questions. No guarantor, no excess rent. I just paid for my holding deposit and the rent for the month that I was coming in, and afterwards I've been paying my rent every month, and I've had no issues whatsoever, like no issues. Anyway, back to my job. While I was doing this, I was searching for a job. I was looking for a job. Nobody ever to apply. I applied to care homes. I applied to shops, Aldi, Lidl, Primark. Everywhere I saw a vacancy, I would apply. I would walk into shops and ask, "Oh, do you want staff?" They would tell me, "Oh, apply." I applied to ASDA, and I went for interviews. First interview, second interview. Some of them, the application on its own is even like an interview. And I did all of this, and I would just get, "Sorry, we are sorry, unfortunately, hey." I'm like, oh, I cannot be unfortunate in this UK. I can't be unfortunate. One of those days, my sister just said, "Let's walk to the school, university student building or student union building, and ask them." Usually have like all the jobs for students. And so we walk in and we ask one guy. I still remember this guy. I'm sure he doesn't even remember me now. And I asked him, like, I'm a student here. I'm looking for a job. Is there any job? Is there any vacancy? And he's like, "Oh, check on the SU website. You'll probably find something, and then you can apply." And so I checked on the website and I saw this job that I'm currently doing, and one other job as a kitchen or a bar assistant. I'm not sure now. And so I applied for this. So my role is as the International Student Experience Coordinator at Kiel University Student Union. And so I applied for it, and I was really rooting for my role because it just made sense. It just made sense that, after having gone through everything I have as an international student, it made sense that I was working in that capacity as an International Student Experience Coordinator. It made sense, you understand? And so I applied and I let it be. Now, at this point, my daughter, and had I even brought her in by then? Yeah, she had come. So at this point, I was just, getting along with school and trying to find a job and my house and all of that. So one of those days on the 18th, again, if you guys remember now, 18th of October, I was in my daughter's passport moved, and 18th of November, I was just at the library. I was trying to read and work on my next class or something, and then, sorry, I'm checking the time. I have to jump on a meeting soon, and then I tried to apply for a job. I sent in my CV. In fact, I actually applied for, it was a care home job. I applied for the job. Maybe I sent in my CV, I got an email. And when I got the email, I'm like, is it like automatic response? But I said, let me just open, and then I opened the email, and it was a congratulatory message that I got the job as International Student Experience Coordinator. I was so happy. I was with my classmate that day from school, and I was just so happy. And I wore the same t-shirt shirt. I remember, that's why I wore it again for this video. I'll post a picture of that day. I was just so happy. I was just so grateful. Like, God, the 18th again. This day is just so special. I've been keeping that day because, like, 18th has to be something for God and for me because it's really special. And so I came out, I made a video, I called my sister, I called my husband, as per usual. I'm like, see what's going on, it's so good. And I got the role, of course. Every other thing that happened, submitted my NI, blah, 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 blah. I'm here right now. I'm still on that job. I'm still working as the International Students Experience Coordinator at my university SU. That's how I got the job. By the end of the month, that November, I moved into my house, started working. My daughter is 9. My daughter was already in daycare, and my studies was going on as usual. And we've been here so far, so good. I thank God for His mercies. Like, the song that says, "Don't look too far to see how good He is. Just look at me. I am the replica of God's mercy. God has been merciful to me. God has been good to me and my family." And I just want to use this medium to say thank you, Jesus. Thank you, God, for not letting me go and for helping me every step of the way. And I also want to say thank you to my sister, her family. They were really pivotal in this journey. They made it easier. They made it really easy to get on, encouraging me every step of the way. My husband, like, every time, my guy, I love you so much. And this is not all of that, but yeah, I just want to say thank you. And that's the end of this video, and that's the end of like my relocation movement and journey so far. And I just want to say thank you for being on this journey with me. If you haven't watched the other 2 videos I made about relocating and my journey, please go watch it. I would leave the link up here for you to watch. And stay tuned, do not go anywhere, because I'll keep coming back with more videos about this journey. But if you have questions for me, if you have comments, if you have things you want me to elaborate on, please leave it in the comment section. I'll be there, I'll read through, and if I can, I'll make a video on it, or I'll discuss it with you there. And I just wanted to share this with you, and I hope you have enjoyed this video as much as I have enjoyed making it. I'll see you in my next one. Till then, stay good, stay blessed, and please like, love, share this video, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Until next time, bye.